She was right, but not for the reason she thinks. You can manifest your dream person, but identity and assumptions matter the most. Hello guys, welcome to a new video. You will have probably seen the title. I think a lot of you will be familiar with this topic. I'll be honest, I have never really been a follower of Wizard Liz. Obviously, as a manifestation coach, it would be a bit of a red flag if I was constantly looking to lots of other coaches and, engaging a lot with coaching content and that type of approach, which I believe her channel very much was based on. So when I heard all about this drama, I was really shocked. This is the first time something like this has really happened in the manifestation sphere on this level. It's unfortunately giving Khloe Kardashian. It's a very unfortunate event, but there is a lot to learn from this, and that Liz herself can actually learn as well. But this video is for you guys. If you're manifesting your SP, I want to give you lots of advice and things that in retrospect and as an external observer perspective, what I can see now after everything that's happened in Liz's situation. So this is not a gossip video. This is a manifestation lesson video about you manifesting your SP and how to avoid the mistakes she made, what is actually going on. So stay tuned because I'm going to tell you guys about what people seem to have missed in her situation that not a lot of people are even talking about, and how this can actually help with your manifestation experience overall. So I've seen people discussing or talking about how the manifestation clearly doesn't work, that, this is proof that manifesting just won't work. She couldn't manifest the person that she wanted, or just looking at the situation that Liz has experienced to say that this is proof, it's not working. Where is her Prince Charming essentially? Someone misusing their manifestation practices, not, understanding themselves, what they're trying to create, the ultimate outcome. I always say in my videos with an SP, you want to focus on, and what everyone wants is ultimately to be in a happy, healthy relationship. It's not about John with brown hair who's standing over there. That has to be, your person and the man that you marry, or Sally over there, the woman that you marry. It's not about the specific person. It's about the relationship, being loved, being happy, being with the person that you feel a strong attraction to, that you want to be with, that you feel so much excitement and passion about. That's what the ultimate goal is, to have this amazing, happy, healthy, balanced relationship. That's what I always encourage people. I even sometimes discourage my own clients from using words like obsessed, and rather focusing on the quality of your relationship with SP. So if you don't put in any internal work, have good self-awareness, which is another thing I always tell people of, self-reflection, these kind of things. Yes, I can maybe see based on what Liz has said and the commentary online, why this situation actually came about. It really shows some of the most important specific person manifestation lessons that anyone should be taking away from this situation. So there is a very clear difference between persisting consistently internally versus completely ignoring your reality and red flags. You don't ignore your intuition, gut instinct, which I've seen people comment as well. I'm not going to watch 5 hours of Liz's content, but I presume she's spoken about her own gut instinct or intuition in her advice and in this situation. And if not, she certainly should be, because those are the things that show you literally from your nervous system. Are you happy and comfortable with a specific person? What internal experience are you having? Do you actually feel happy and fulfilled with what you're experiencing? So obviously when there's a lack of a relationship with an SP, yes, that is going to come up and you're not going to have positive emotions. But when you're actually in communication, developing or dating a relationship, with your specific person, that's going to be a key indicator of, is this actually right? And the circumstances you're currently in, I want to reassure you guys, that is not what is dictating and creating your future. They are literally just a reflection of your current assumptions. So yes, sometimes circumstances are not ideal, but again, combining it with your intuition, gut instinct, and understanding really what you truly want in life in a relationship, and going way beyond the surface, really digging deep of what exactly it is that will bring you that fulfillment in life. The current assumptions you have will be reshaped, will be built upon, and all the negative ones can be replaced with positive. It does take time, but the more you work on them and the more negative beliefs you shift around dating and your SP, for example, the better it will be. The more those circumstances will start to shift in your favor. You won't be acting out of insecurity, a need for validation, trying to force an outcome because you feel incomplete. It will unfold naturally, but you need to start with that internal work. And again, there is a difference between ignoring what might be a temporary circumstance, a temporary negative circumstance, and actually completely ignoring and just dismissing the bad patterns that you're seeing in someone's behavior and in yourself. I always say, well, I don't use the word accountability, but you need to take accountability, especially, in hindsight of this situation with Liz. You do want to mentally ignore the temporary bad circumstances. It's obviously the opposite of manifestation, to literally sit and analyze and remind yourself of, think and visualize all the bad circumstances, a lack of contact or a breakup or something. Those are the ones where mentally you want to flip it around. And it's not just ignoring it and living in a delusional land. It's about you ignore it, but then you're going into a positive delusional mindset of telling yourself, well, actually, this is what I believe. This is what I assume. It's a positive relationship. I feel happy and fulfilled in life. This is the vision I am holding in my mind of what I want in my future. Holding hands, going on dates, just being happy, fulfilled, and loved. That is completely different to just ignoring, dismissing, or, finding a validation for why someone has bad behavior, why you or the other person is repeating bad habits and bad patterns, and just completely ignoring and, putting on rose-tinted glasses to bypass that just because. Have higher self-worth and self-respect, which I know ironically is something that Liz has always talked about from the content of hers that I have seen. It is very much like a motivational approach, and that's great, but when you don't apply it yourself, you are going to end up as a cautionary tale. I know just how many questions can come up during the manifestation journey. Honestly, I've had so many of my own when I was first starting out in the first year or so, seeing a lot of the same patterns and types of questions and topics come up in question form, and that people just want answers to clarify the journey and give you guys so much more confidence. And that's definitely what I've seen in feedback from clients, from my members. You guys really are very engaged and asking the right types of questions. So if that fits for you as well, and you think, yes, I do have loads of manifesting questions right now, then you can join my LOA Coaching Darling membership. You get so many benefits, like first access to all my long form videos. You literally get to submit questions to a Q&A every month. So anything you're unsure about SP, as we're going through this video, for example, you can ask in this month's Q&A at the end of every single month. And I put as much time as I can in each video to answer each part of the question. It's a really affordable alternative to one-to-one coaching with me. So yeah, take a look right below if you're interested. My understanding of the key issues that seem to have repeated in Liz's experience, and obviously I don't know her personally, so again, this is based off of everything that I've seen that she said, other people's analysis that I've learned from diving into this unfortunate drama, is that she seems to have manifested and gained this reflection of issues with her own father. So as stereotypical as that might be to say daddy issues, she has, complained about this unfortunate relationship with her dad. That obviously is not her fault. Growing up, if you don't have stable parental figures, yes, it does feed into your assumptions, your beliefs, your mental state. That sometimes does need to be unraveled and worked on before you can be in a healthy, committed relationship. So she's talked about how her father basically was not a provider, did not have financial security or any form of stability. He wasn't financially supportive to her. And what she has said in many clips, which you can see this for yourself. I'm not going to, insert tons of footage of her in this video because it's about your SP journey. However, she has spoken about how, financially generous her Landon, I think is his name, her partner was. And at the beginning of the relationship, he was just constantly throwing money into the relationship and just really, splurging on her and paying for everything, which, yes, that is a great trait and a positive sign and showing that someone does care and is actually putting an investment towards you. But that's only one tiny part, and that should never be the top priority. That's not going to sustain or prove someone's character or a healthy relationship. So that is one lesson to learn. And also the fact that she seems to have unresolved issues regarding relationships and her own relationship with her father, which I think psychologically and inherently does reflect, for men or for women, the relationship with a close parental figure. It does seep into those adult dating relationships. So also in terms of self-concept, she clearly has not applied a huge amount of self-reflection along the way, really understanding what she deserves, what she truly wants and needs, and her own standards, I would say, even though she talks a lot about that in terms of advice and what other women should do. The way she potentially seems to have judged, or the perception and perspective she was looking at her relationship through, wasn't from a healthy foundation. So trying to validate her relationship and explain what was going on and how it just did a total 180 from saying, you know, oh, he was spoiling me and he paid all my bills, I believe, and just seemed to have like splurged on her a lot. That, like I said, that is a lovely romantic aspect. Typically, you know, men would do that for women in dating, even on a lower level, you know, taking a woman out to dinner, buying her, you know, small gifts and these small gestures, whatever it is. It doesn't matter about the amount of money, but yes, of course, that's great, but you need so much more than that. So her focus on trying to justify things by saying, well, he was spending so much money on me, it doesn't show good standards and priorities, to be honest. That's another thing that I have said in my videos that I think can definitely help to avoid these types of situations of getting into the wrong relationship and jumping into commitment in the wrong way. Because just let me, disclaimer, I personally don't think that it's wrong to have quick commitment and move quickly, you know, in societal standards, especially when manifestation is involved. You can meet the love of your life and it works out perfectly and you're having the right experiences, the right conversations, the right types of dates where you're really getting an honest view of this person. You have no intellectual or intuitive reason to not believe them or think something's wrong or they're being dishonest or secretive with me. You know, you're spending the right amount of time with the right activities with this person. So you see their true character, true nature, them in their natural habitat, the way they speak, when their guard is down. Those kind of things can happen quickly. I've seen very successful relationships develop in a matter of months. However, like I said, I think in Liz's case, unfortunately, it was the wrong person and there were red flags that for the sake of the wrong priorities were ignored. So what I always say in my videos, that is again another lesson to learn from here, that I talk about in regards to a mental diet and with a specific person. When those deep-rooted subconscious fears come up, write down your opposing thoughts, flip them around, and you can actually see what fears are coming up that are deeply rooted in your subconscious about dating, your self-worth, or relationships. Another red flag regarding this situation is that in hindsight, there doesn't seem to be much reflection on Liz's part, which I believe she's been classified as a manifestation coach, a mindset coach, and kind of inspirational online speaker. She's very successful, and I'm not denying that the things she says are wrong. However, she clearly doesn't live from, you know, she doesn't walk the walk. So what I've seen, that instead of taking on responsibility and self-reflection, she is posting TikToks, you know, showing herself like dancing or saying, you know, when you up level in life and, you know, you realize that you're not going to go to other people's level, and just essentially trying to say, look at me, you know, I've got good self-confidence, I'm thriving, I'm happy, I'm ignoring, you know, the haters, or I'm ignoring, you know, the people who don't deserve me, and things like that, where yes, it's kind of inspirational and fun and enjoyable to see, but not in her situation. She needs to take time out, do a lot of self-reflection. She doesn't owe people an explanation or, you know, that validation. But if she's going to continue posting online, I believe the best thing to do as a coach is to say, here are the lessons. Here is what unfortunately has come about from this cautionary tale, and I will never repeat it. And here are the deeper reasons why I believe this occurred, which if she chooses to post and talk about things like this, which she has, that is the perspective she should be doing if she had high self-awareness. And what in reality she said is that she has no idea how it happened. When she initially did videos about it, saying, I just don't know how this came together, instead of reverse engineering what has actually happened, because you can do that easily by looking at it from the lens of manifestation. Because self-concept is not just being confident, feeling attractive or desirable. It can go so much deeper than that. If there is any trauma, deep-rooted issues, or you just struggle a lot with self-worth in general, it's deeper than just, you know, the outside. Because you want to focus on what you deserve in a relationship. What do you believe you deserve in a relationship? What do you actually want from that? What do you believe you're worthy of? Then not needing the external validation, which perhaps is also something that reflects in Liz's situation, where this external, you know, financial validation of saying, well, he's spending lots of money on me. And another red flag based on what she said, perhaps she's evolved since then, this might have been a couple months ago. She did say, well, you know, I'm 25, So, and I might as well get married to this amazing guy and have a baby, because why not? That was what I took from what she was saying and how she expressed herself. Perhaps she's evolved since then. That is a terrible mindset, and I would very strongly discourage anyone from jumping into a life-altering relationship or decision simply because you think, well, that's what I should do. I might as well tick this box. Oh, this person, man or woman, is treating me well and kind of spoiling me and showing me these certain actions. But is the whole package there? It's not just about saying, well, I feel happy, I've been spoiled, he treats me like a queen. That is not enough. You need to see someone's character and usually, yes, longer term behavior. So essentially not idealizing this relationship or truly understanding why you want to be with SP, not just this idealized rose-tinted glasses perspective, and maybe even delving deeper into your own attachment style so you really understand, is there something I still need to work on internally for my own benefit? Because your identity is just as important as applying consistency with affirmations. For this section, I'm going to go into the main manifestation lesson that people seem to really have missed in this case, but ultimately you want to accept high standards overall, not just about money or gaining some kind of validation or feeling good in the moment, because that honeymoon phase can go away. And if you don't have a strong foundation, that relationship can oftentimes crumble. It's really fascinating how the human mind actually is always searching for evidence of existing beliefs. That's your reticular activating system, essentially, where you pick up on things that you've been thinking about, focusing on, and is already, kind of rooted in your subconscious. Yes, oftentimes it is birds before land, but the psychology behind it is that you will just naturally gravitate to and notice those things. So it's always looking for that evidence and examples of what you already believe. So if you don't work on those negative beliefs, and that, if you have something tied to trauma and bad negative experiences and you leave it untouched, it can very often repeat itself. For me, the right balance, and what gives me a lot of peace as well, is knowing that I have my faith in God. I can be discerning, intellectual, make my choices in life, not just wait for things to show up, but trust in God's guidance, prayer, waiting for all of that inspiration and lessons that I need to learn, but also knowing, okay, this is the decision that I feel good making right now. So ultimately, just apply common sense, rational thinking. Do not jump into something for the wrong reasons. And persist with your affirmations, of course. Apply manifestation, but be discerning at the same time.